The Green Ranger problem. What exactly does that mean? Well, I'll tell you what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean that there's a problem with the Green Ranger or the actor that played the Green Ranger, Jason David Frank. So if you're a super fan who's about to comment that I'm a hater, that's not what this video is about. So what is it about? Well, it's more about fandom and the dynamics that I think happen between fandom and franchises that have been long running and have long-standing popular characters. So why is the title called The Green Ranger Problem? Well, it's because if you grew up in the era of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you probably know the Green Ranger. But most people probably might not remember that the person under the mask is a character named Tommy Oliver. So just for ease of algorithm, I've decided to call it The Green Ranger Problem. So let's get into the details. When I was a kid, I was always a Red Ranger fan. So when the Green Ranger came along, I saw how quickly people switched from always wanting to be the Red Ranger like me to always wanting to be the Green Ranger. Which is totally fine. The Green Ranger is cool. There's nothing wrong with the Green Ranger. But I noticed that over time, as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers' popularity started to decline and actors started to come and go, they always made sure that Tommy Oliver was involved, at least in the beginning, to give the new cast the strongest chance of succeeding. And they did try some other things with other Rangers, like having Jason come back as the Gold Ranger, but at the end of the day, Tommy Oliver is the highest reoccurring Power Ranger in Power Rangers. No spoilers, but even when the comics decided to reboot back to the Mighty Morphin days, anyone who's read those comics knows the philosophy behind that was definitely add more Tommy. And all that reoccurring in popularity is the problem, and here's why. Naturally, people want more of what they love, but you also need to change things up enough to attract new viewers. When things go on long enough, you will eventually fail that a few times. When you fail it too many times, you're either going to get a dwindling fan base with no new viewers coming in, or you're going to get a highly fractured fan base because you change things up too much and no one sticks around for any of the newer stuff. So it creates a situation where a creator has to do a bit of a juggling act to try to keep older viewers while also doing things to attract new viewers. But this balancing act can create a feedback loop between the creator and the fans. Let's do an example. I create a show, and all of you love it. It's a massive success, congrats to me. But now it's season 3, and my ratings have started to slip. Now I have to freshen things up and get those ratings back up. What am I gonna do? Well, you all liked Gary, right? He's everyone's favorite character. He's cool. We'll have him involved in the plot. But we can't just have him sitting around. The fans like Gary too much because he's too cool for school. He needs to be doing something awesome and important. So we have Gary do a last-minute motorcycle sword fight against his own brother on top of a volcano to save the day. Absolutely beautiful. I cried just reading it. But now, older Gary fans are satisfied, and newer fans of the show now realize the true glory of this Gary character. But you see the situation happening here, right? Gary is now a certified superstar. But what about all the new characters? The thing you have to understand is that it's always easier to make you care about something than it is to make you stop caring about something. So for example, it's easier to make you care about a newer pet of yours than it is to make you stop caring about your older ones. And that can have devastating effects on fictional characters. Think of a pie chart of your favorite Power Rangers characters. Let's start with the 5 original Rangers, evenly split. Honestly, I think Jason and Billy would take up most of the pie, but let's be fair to all the Zach, Kimberly, and Trini fans. Tommy Oliver's appearance, though, would immediately alter that pie chart for most people. He's probably going to take up 50% all by himself. Then let's say that the original 5 take up the other 50%. Then, as the show goes on, some Rangers will start making a splash on this pie chart, like Adam becoming the Black Ranger. But what happens if we go way later into the franchise, when plenty of characters have been introduced? Remember what I said earlier about our ability to care? Because you care so much about those 6 original Rangers, there's no room for being average anymore. You have to be a breakout hit character to even make a dent now. And if you don't make a dent, you're immediately a forgotten relic of the past the second the next season starts. So it creates a feedback loop where the company is encouraged to give you even more of that standout character. But now the only moments that matter to everyone in the franchise ends up being attached to a singular person. If you've ever watched the wrestling program WWE, you've probably already discussed this problem before amongst fans. They do that. I get more of what I like, and they get my money. It's a win-win for us, so why change it? The company has every incentive to just give you what you want, but you don't have any incentive to give them a chance when they make changes you might not like. You get to walk away from any show and just find something else to watch. They have to worry about getting canceled, so the show is always going to choose the safest option first. You have to remember that no one knows what the audience is going to end up enjoying. Tommy Oliver was never meant to be a reoccurring character, but we made him into what's essentially the face of the entire franchise, which leads to the tragic thing that I need to address. This video was thought up a long time ago. The original ending of this video was meant to talk about the past, present, and future of the Green Ranger. Jason David Frank, the actor who played the Green Ranger, unfortunately has passed away. The original idea was meant to be that Jason David Frank obviously loved Power Rangers. He was super involved in the community, and we as fans obviously appreciated that. But the issue I was having is that one man is having to carry the love of an entire franchise on his back. What if the day came where he didn't want to participate with the franchise anymore? They announced the Power Rangers reunion special, and let's be honest, their response was meh, because the ones that mattered most aren't going to be there. What does Power Rangers do now to create the same level of excitement as other franchises have done in the past? The thing that made this video hard for me to decide to actually finish and release is that it's no longer about the past, present, and future of the Green Ranger like I intended it to be. It's now about the legacy of the Green Ranger, and I don't want to downplay that legacy. I just wish that the franchise had been a massive success beyond just 6 Rangers, a world where there's plenty of super popular characters they can choose to branch off of like Marvel and DC, but it didn't happen. And I think it's partially our fault. We all screamed more Tommy as kids, and that's exactly what they delivered. If you made it this far, it means you dealt with my terrible audio, and tell me what you think about this video by leaving a comment. Like and subscribe and all that extra stuff. If you made it this far, thanks. And yeah, I guess I'll give you a fun fact for staying this far. My favorite 6th Ranger isn't the Green Ranger. It's actually the Magna Defender. And yes, I consider him a 6th Ranger.